Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've been on. We've been having quite a good Christmas with the kids, playing a bit of Sea of Thieves, and just generally having fun for the Christmas break. So, today, first one of the year, we are going to be building the Stargate SG1 characters in Modern Age. Now, a few of you will probably be asking, why am I using Modern Age? Why not something more popular like Starfinder? Or, you know, a homebrew rule for D&D, because there's some pretty good sci-fi rules for D&D out there, especially in the DMG. Well, I just love, I love the Modern Age system. I've been using it for quite a few, well, since it came out, actually. Technically, I was using Dragon Age pretty much as soon as it came out. I then swapped to Fantasy Age once the Dragon Age IP sort of ran out. Moved to Titan's Grave when I saw Will Wheaton's Ashes of Valhalla TV series, and then when Modern Age came out, I've been on to that. That pretty much suits our modern type of combat. We can do Gothic horror, we can do Cthulhu horror. I mean, we were using the laundry system for a while, the laundry files, sorry. That was a good sort of comic Cthulhu type system, but we found Modern Age was just better all round. It's easier to get into and all that sort of stuff. So we'll get into a bit of why I prefer it later. I'll show you a little bit of an example of how good the system can be. But let's get into this. For the Modern Age system, we will be using the following books. We'll be going with the basic rule book. I mean, we desperately need that. We are using the companion guide, and we'll be using Threefold. Threefold is a fairly decent, well, not an engine, a fairly decent setting for it. I kind of find it's like, if you watch The Dark Tower, that is Threefold to a T. Sort of, you've got Earth and a whole heap of different Earth alts, and then you've got the other lands, which is equivalent to the Feywilds. That's where the elves and the magic comes on, and then you've got the underworlds or the dark worlds, which are your, you know, hellscapes, that sort of stuff, and you've got portals to jump through it the way they did in the Raymond D. Feist novels Magician, where you've got, you know, the Hall of Doors and the Stargates, and I find converting Stargate into the system really, really simple, as it pretty much does all sorts of stuff. You can go to high fantasy worlds, you can go to feudal worlds, you can go to hellscapes, you can go to future tech worlds. All this sort of stuff exists in Threefold, and it exists in Stargate, so we can use that quite happily. So, the Age system. Why do I like the Age system a lot? Well, the adventure game engine, which is why it's called Age, usually runs with 3 dice. You have 3d6, 2 dice of one colour, 1 of a third colour. So all of your tests, this includes combat tests, running checks for pretty much everything in the game, runs on 3d6. It does give you a total of 3 to 18, as opposed to your system with D&D of 1 to 20, but I'll show you what I mean. This is probably the easiest way to describe it. The modes. Okay, no, we'll go into modes first. Modes is, in the Modern Age system, you have gritty mode. So gritty mode is sort of, I use this for your horror type mode, your film noir, that sort of stuff. You don't have a lot of hit points. You get hit by a bullet, you are going down big time. It's a real good mode if you want a realistic style gameplay. None of this thing where you can take 30 bullets in the chest and carry on fighting. The other mode you have is pulpy mode. This is kind of not as much of the D&D. It's sort of a bit cut back, so your defense doesn't quite handle taking everything. You can handle impact damage, but not ballistic damage. We'll get into damages in a bit later. Yeah, you can still bleed out pretty well. You can get overwhelmed pretty well. You don't have access to all the super high-end stuff that lets you be a true superhero. And the last one is cinematic mode. This is the superhero. If you want a good example, as pulpy mode is what you get when you're playing D&D. Cinematic mode is what you get when you're playing Pathfinder. So the dice. You have 3d6 in Modern Age. That gives you a 111 all the way through to a 666. That gives you 3 to 18 as your tests. Where now the reason we do that is you can see here, this is the percentage or the chance you have of rolling one of these numbers. As you can see, there's quite a nice bell curve topping off at 10 to 11. It's about a 12.5% chance of getting one of those. So you can build a character and your build is actually representative more than the random dice roll. If you have a hacker, say, and you want to attack a computer system, well, you go into intelligence hacking or intelligence computer systems, you have up to a 25% chance of getting between a 10 and an 11. So you add your focus and your skill into the 10 and 11, and you can almost, you can't 100% guarantee, but you can work out pretty close to where you're going to be getting, whether you want to try a test and that sort of stuff. Whereas we look at D&D, it goes 1 to 20. That gives us 1 to 20, and you can see everything is a 5% chance of hitting. So say I had a hacker that had a proficiency in intelligence hacking or something like that. I rolled the dice. I need a 10 in order to pass. Well, I do have all up about a 55% chance of getting higher than a 10, but I actually have quite a chance of getting low. And over time, it will sort of go with the bell curve over 100 different dice rolls. You'll notice a bell curve sort of ends up in this, but every individual dice is sitting at a 5% chance to get that number. And yeah, I've had so many games where you've got the thief trying to undo a lock. In fact, our Dragon Heist game that we live streamed last year before the lockdown, our thief tried to sneak up on someone, you know, expert in stealth, really good at that sort of stuff. He rolled a 1, slipped on a banana, crashed into some tin cans, and made a hell of a noise. And this is a guy who specialises in stealth and thievery and stuff, and yet the barbarian rolled better than he did. That's what I don't like about the 1d20 system, and that's what I love about the 3d6. You can plan your character better, and there's less reliance on rolling for it. So, one of the other systems that it had was stunts. You'll hear that quite a bit being brought up. What is a stunt? Well, when you roll your 3 dice, if you get a double on any dice, then that generates stunt points. That's why you have 1 dice different. That is the dice that has the stunt points. So, an example of this is we have an ability test. Our target number, an ability test is a target number plus 3d6 plus your ability plus your focus. So say we have a target number of 14. We have 2 in the ability and we have the focus. I roll a 2, a 3 and a 5. This gives us 10, which is an average statistical probability of getting. That gives us 14 because we rolled 10, we have 2 in the ability, we have 2 in our focus, we get 14, we equal or beat it, we win. We don't generate any stunts with that. None of them were a double. But if we were to roll 2, 4 and 4, as you can see, it is the same amount. It is 10, but we got 2 doubles. We got 2 4s. So our odd number dice, which is our stunt dice, generates us 4 stunt points. And with that, there is a table on all sorts of stuff you can do with stunt points. Generally, stunts are broken into 3. You've got your action stunts, your exploration stunts, and your social stunts. And whichever mode you're playing, action being combat, exploration being exploration mode, and social being RP mode, any combat you're running in, or, you know, if you're exploring or if you're talking to people, there is a different table of stunts you can choose from. And they all branch out. So for action stunts, you have your general combat stunts, an entire page, I think about 20 odd stunts you can do. Then, depending on what type of combat you're in, if you are in melee combat, you can choose from melee stunts or grappling stunts. If you're shooting a gun, you can choose firearm stunts, and that branches off to automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, and single-shot weapons. Or if you're fighting in a plane, you have anti-vehicle stunts. I mean, this could take anything from starships to fighters to you're in a chase in a car or even on horseback. You have your exploration stunts, which give you your general exploration stunts. Then you can go with infiltration stunts if you're trying to hack into something, or investigation stunts if you're trying to find information. And your social stunts, which give you your general. Then your attitude stunts. These are if people are, have an attitude towards you, usually a negative one. This helps build it up. And then your membership stunts. If you are a member with something, you can actually use membership stunts to help boost your process or boost your stats or all that sort of stuff. Okay, so let's break it down into a simple thing to give you an example. This won't take too long, and then we'll get into the build. And this will show you, the 3d6 is one key thing, but the stunts is the other reason I love the game. So we have a mission. We have to break into a corporate PC and extract data, then wipe the database clean so the rival corp doesn't get access to it. Okay, this is going to use intelligence hacking. Say my character has 4 intelligence and the hacking feat given us a +6. That means statistically we're going to be rolling 16, 17-ish to attack. Okay, I'm going to make this an advanced test. What advanced tests are you have a target number of 14. If you have the target number, you add your dice. That goes to the advanced threshold, and you have a certain amount of time to do a test. So this one is going to be a hacking. We've got 1 minute until the firewall trips. Each minute will be broken down into 10 seconds, giving us 6 turns to get 25. So what we have to do is roll for our 10 seconds. If we beat 14, which statistically we are more likely to beat it, we add the dragon dice, or it was called dragon dice in Dragon Age. We add the stunt dice, and that once we hit 25, if we can do it within 6 turns, we pass. The firewall doesn't trip, we succeed. Okay, our very, very first roll is a 2, a 2, and a 5. Okay, this gives us 9, plus our 6, which gives us 15, and we get 5 stunt points. So, looking at the table of stunts, we can choose up to 5 stunts to get. I'm going to choose a stitch in time. So, you put in the effort to do it right the first time, setting yourself up for more success later. Gain 1 stunt point for your next task relating to this one during the encounter. Okay, effectively this means we got 5. Well, I'm going to use 3 of our stunts to make that 5 into an 8. So that is actually going to drop the advanced threshold from 25 down to 17. We've still got 2 left, so I'm going to do Speed Demon. You complete your test in half the time it would otherwise take. This is going to mean instead of taking 10 seconds to do our hack, we lucked out and it now only takes 5 seconds. So our next one, we have 17 to get. We have 55 seconds before the firewall trips, which is 5.5 turns. I rolled a 2, a 4, and a 5. Now, just a heads up, I actually rolled all these dice just to see what they would come up with. So these are not random, well, they are random dice, but these are what I physically actually rolled when creating this presentation. Okay, so that is 11, meaning we get 17 because we add our 6 in. This beats the threshold of 4, so we add another 5 to our stunt pool. Pretty good. We didn't generate stunts, but oh well, that has dropped it down to 12 for our threshold. Okay, and we have 45 seconds before the firewall trips. We rolled a 4. A 4, we're definitely getting stunt points here. And a 6. This is really, really good. So we get 20 with 6 stunt points. For that, I'm going to do Speed Demon again. This is going to mean instead of 3.5 turns or 35 seconds, we've dropped it down to 40 seconds left. We've effectively, in 2 turns, given ourselves an extra turn. And I'm going to use the other 4 for It Wasn't Me. You leave evidence that another character is responsible for the results of your test, such as break-in and entering, cheating at the cards, or uploading a computer virus. All failed tests to investigate the truth reveal that person as the culprit, and the tests suffer a -2. So say in RP mode, the DM determines that the corporation have realised that part of the database has been wiped. They want to find out who it is and take revenge onto them. Well, they're going to do that at a -2, and if they fail, all evidence is going to point somewhere else. They will not be able to track me down. I like this. It means I'm future-proofing myself, so I'm not making an enemy of this corporation. Okay. We now have 6 to get, and we have 40 seconds. So as you can see, we have raced along incredibly quickly. Let's go. We get a 2, a 1, not good, and a 2. We generate stunt points, however, we actually failed. Maybe we put a missing semicolon. You know, we decided to hack a different IP, and it turned out nothing. We effectively fail. So our advanced threshold is still 6, and we're now down to 30 seconds before the firewall trips. We get a 3, and a 3. Okay, so that's 9. We beat it. We get 3 stunt points. Well, I'm going to take this advantage and get pay dirt. In the course of your endeavour, you win a bet, happen across conveniently abandoned briefcase or of cash, or discover something valuable you can pawn off. I basically found a bit of information relating to some hidden bank accounts that I managed to download, and I now have access to those bank accounts. I got 3 stunts, so I now get 3 resources that I can spend until I fail a resource test. Okay, that gives us an advanced threshold of 3. We have 20 seconds before the firewall trips. I get a 6. I get a 5. This is good. We are definitely passing. And I get a 2. Okay, we definitely pass. However, we really needed more than a 2. If we had run a 3, we would have easily won. However, we didn't, so we still have 1 to get. And we are down to 10 seconds, so this is the very last roll. I go for a 4, a 2, and a 4. That is a pass. That gives us 4 stunt points. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do Core, just a shadow. This gains 1 stunt point for any test during the encounter as long as I remain unnoticed. This is going to help me as I escape the building that I've just broken into. As long as I remain in stealth mode, I'm going to get a +1 to any stunt points for the next rolls. And I get cover my tracks. I just really want to make sure no one knows it was me. So another -2 on all future rolls to follow my trail. This is going to increase it to -4. It's going to make it impossible for people to track me down. So that is how the stunts work. It's a little bit on how tests work and advanced tests and thresholds and all that sort of stuff, but that just shows you the power of the stunts. Had I not used twice the thing that halved the amount of time, then I wouldn't have made it. That roll of 2 would have meant I actually failed, the firewall would have tripped, and the mission would have been a failure, even though I was rolling really well. I also have a bunch of resources I can use out of it. And in the end, it's going to make it impossible for anyone else to hack me or do a reverse hack, a reverse, an IP trace, anything like that. Okay, so for the character creation, I am going to be using the advanced character creation rules from the companion guide. This is freeform character creation. Usually with it, you would choose your background. You would then choose a drive and then choose a profession. And your background, you would roll on a table to see what skills you get. Same with your background. Yeah, that's with your background, with your drive and your profession. It gives you choices you can make, and that's how you build a character. This one, because we actually know what characters we're making the SG1 team, we are just going to choose them. This gives us the concept. Well, we know exactly what they are going to be. It's going to be the SG1 team. The abilities, we're going to use the freeform, which gives us 12 ability points to put into the 9 different skills. At the end, we get a +1 to add, so they can make something up to +4. Remember, the modern age system it doesn't have like a strength of 20. What it will have is just the modifier, so a strength, it will be +5. We are going to choose 3 focuses that our characters get, and 3 talents. This can be 3 individual talents or 1 individual novice talent and 1 expert talent, because talents go up from, I think it is novice, expert, legendary, grandmaster, and apex, or master, grandmaster, apex, so 5 levels. We're then going to get a couple of improvements. We're going to put our resources in. We're going to work out all our secondary traits, all our goals, ties, and relationships, and then the name and description. Alright, with this we are doing Stargate, so I did have to homebrew a few rules. I've got a new talent called Goa'uld. This is going to be a unique type of talent. If you have a Goa'uld symbiote inside you, you can choose which one you go with. If you have an adult, you go with the expert host, that is the player, and master, Goa'uld, or Tok'ra, anything like that. The Goa'uld and Tok'ra, they are the symbiote, and the host is the player character. So you can become a dual one like Carter, and I can't remember what Carter's, her father, I can't remember the name, Selmak, was it? Yeah, I think it was Selmak. So this one would be Carter, this one would be Selmak. Or you can have the Jafar one, which is an infant Goa'uld symbiote, and that gives you access to accuracy Goa'uld weapons, which there are 2 types. There's the staff weapon, which is both a ranged and a melee, and then you have dexterity piloting. If you have the master, then you have all of these, and the host has them. You can also, such as Sam had very briefly a Tok'ra symbiote, she gains the ability to use Goa'uld hand devices, and she could sense Goa'uld, but she didn't have the automatic Goa'uld fighting preferences. We also have armor. This here are the 4 key armors you see in the TV series. You see the standard Jafar armor, which is the silver armor. This is going to be 4 impact and 4 ballistic. The way it works, each weapon will do one of 3 types of damage. Impact damage, ballistic damage, and piercing damage. Impact damage is like your melee weapons and basic stuff like that. Ballistic is your high-powered stuff such as bullets, shrapnel from grenades and that sort of thing. And then piercing is your armor penetration type things. AP weapons, that sort of stuff. It is going to have an armor penalty. Oh, sorry, back to the armor rating. Yep. Armor rating doesn't make you harder to hit. That there is your defense skill, which some of these will put a defense skill up. That is the shield bonus. That doesn't count for that. What armor rating is a direct damage reduction on the damage taken. So say I have 4 impact and someone stabs me with a knife that does 1d6 damage. If they roll a 1 to a 4, then my armor is absorbing the damage. If they roll a 5 and a 6, I am taking 2 points of damage. It's not a damage threshold, it is a damage reduction, just to be clear. So you take 4 off the damage. This can reduce it to nothing. Armor penalty, that there is your penalty to any dexterity checks, which is stealth and running and defense while wearing this armor. Shield bonus, that there puts up how much your defense goes up by. So you can see the armor penalty is 2, the shield bonus is 2. They pretty much negate each other out, which puts it to the character's defense. And then your resource target number. Resources are handled differently. You don't have gold. You have X amount of resources, and when you want to buy something, you run a test. If you defeat the test, then you get it. So with 16, you would have to have resources of about 8 to guarantee you can buy it. Obviously, the super high stuff is very hard to come by. Right, Honor Guard. This is the gold armour that you see TEAL'C wearing quite a bit, as well as other first primes. It offers the same impact damage, however, it offers a lot more ballistic damage. It is also a bit higher tech, so it doesn't have as much of an armour penalty. And it gives you much more shield, so it can just outright ignore the damage straight out. Your Cull Warrior, this is the Anubis Cull Warriors that you see in the later seasons. Also you see VALA DORAN wear it a few times, and Daniel Jackson I think got into Cull Warrior armour. It pretty much gives full immunity to impact and ballistic damage, and you can only take damage from penetrating if you're using the precise force stunt, i.e. you roll your damage, you roll to hit. If you get a stunt, you must use the precise force, which gives you armor penetration, and then whatever you roll in damage, that is done by half. This just shows how powerful the Cull Warrior armor was. And then the Goa'uld Personal Shield. This offers no protection from thrown or melee weapons. You can throw grenades inside the shield, but it adds the test to throw a grenade up by 10 to actually get it to roll inside the shield. And it offers no protection from environmental effects, such as the effects of grenades and flashbangs. That's the kinetic grenade to knock people down and the flashbang grenade. But it does offer complete immunity to ballistic and penetrating damage. You can also give complete immunity to everything for 1d6 plus willpower rounds. After that, the shield is drained. This shows in the episode where they take out Apophis for the second time. He has the shield on, and you see all the replicators walking around him as if it's solid, and the shield is glowing a lot brighter than it usually is. He would have activated that to give him complete immunity. Wouldn't have helped much once the ship ran into a planet. Okay, you have a new item called the Symbiont. This offers the bonuses of blood filters, enhanced immunity, and medical implant. It gives you a negative of if it is ever removed, you have 1d6 plus your constitution days left to live, otherwise you'll die. You can put another symbiont in, but yeah, not very good. And you are susceptible to symbiote sense. That means anybody who has symbiote sense, i.e. Other Goa'uld, they can actually sense one in there. Also, the Asgard had a device that can sense symbiotes. That's Thor's hammer. And you can lose the symbiote under extreme circumstances. That shows that Braytak and TEAL'C actually lost their symbiote and went to the drug to give them their powers, but not kill them. As well as the Tok'ra leaving both Carter and Jack in later seasons when they were entered their bodies. Yeah, they can lose symbionts. Okay, blood filters. These here come from the augment page of the Threefold book. So blood filters pretty much gives you a bonus on nanorobots, engineered organisms, and other stuff entering your bloodstreams. Enhanced immunity is any diseases or pathogens that enter your bloodstream. And a medical implant is basically you get a short rest after each combat, the same as D&D, and with that you can heal 5 plus your constitution plus your level worth of hit points. With medical implant, you can actually take 2 short rests, because in the core rules you can only take 1 short rest per level of combat, and you can't take it if you're reduced to 0 hit points. You need medical attention. This thing automatically activates if you hit 0, so it lets you stay alive longer and it lets you regenerate. This shows the Jafar's ability to heal very quickly. And the last homebrew rules will be a focus. We have accuracy, fighting, gold weapons, and perception, symbiote sense. We then have the melee weapon of your staff weapon, doing 2d6 plus 3. It takes 2 strength to be able to wield it properly. It does impact damage and it's wounding, which there are 2 different types. Stun damage just knocks you out. Wounding actually can kill you. Then you have your ranged weapons, which is firing a staff weapon does 3d6 damage, so it's fairly powerful, but it's only ballistic damage. It does wounding, and it is a single shot. The Zat Nicotels only does 1d6, but as you can see, it'll do 2 times the damage rounds. So you roll your 1d6 damage if you hit, and you double that, and that's how many rounds the person is knocked out for. Toughness can bring it down. Plus, second hit kills, third hit destroys, same as the TV show. And then your staff cannon, it does the same damage as a staff weapon, however it is penetrating, which means it will go through full armor, whereas that can be stopped by armor, vehicles, that sort of stuff. Alright, now that we've gone in through all the homebrew stuff, we can actually have a look at the characters we're creating. First off, we are going to be looking at Jack O'Neill, the leader of SG1. So his concept, his name will be Jack O'Neill. He is 45 years old. This is based on 1997 when the SGC was formed. So after the movie, just before the TV series. His background will be US Air Force. His social class is middle. His profession is he was the Special Air Services. His drive is to defeat the Goa'uld. And because of his rank in the military, he starts off with the SGC at level 2. Relationship is level 2 and membership rank 2 of the SGC. His abilities and focuses, I'm going to give him 3 accuracy. He, while working in the SAS, he worked as a sniper quite a bit. You can see that in a couple of flashback episodes. He'll have 0 communication. This isn't bad communication, this is just normal communication for normal people. He will have constitution of 1, dexterity of 2, fighting skills, which is your melee skill, of 2, intelligence 0, once again not bad, just not super intelligent. Perception 2, any ranged weapons, it is accuracy to hit, perception to do damage. Strength is fighting to hit, strength for damage, so his strength will be 2, and willpower 0. His bonuses, I'm going to give him an extra on his constitution, giving him +2 to constitution. And his focuses will be long arms to show his sniper skills, leadership for communication, so he can actually lead the party very well, and tactics for intelligence. This is going to lead into a couple of specialty skills he can run later, as well as give him a lot of help running the SGC. Okay, just a side note, a character with the accuracy long arms focus enjoys +3 damage when using a sniper's rifle. His talents, he is going to have rifle style, so when he is using accuracy long arms, it will also work for assault rifles, which means he can use his AK-47. Actually, I don't think he had an AK-47, but you know, he can use assault rifles very well as well. If he goes prone or braces against something, he gets a +1 to his attack roll, and this will stack with taking the aim action. So you can see in one episode, I think it was called Game Master, where they go into those pods and relive Jack assaulting a Russian mob's house and Daniel is watching his parents get killed. He actually braced the weapon against Kowalski's shoulder and took out a bunch of guys long range with his sniper's rifle. And then expert, you trust your weapon's power to punch through cover. The attack roll modifier for defending in light cover does not apply, so he can hit people in cover very well. Also, anyone using a human shield, you can still hit people through the human shield. He's also going to have scouting, so this is going to let him be a forward advanced commander. He can scout, not as good as some other people, but yeah, he can scout. If he uses dexterity stealth test and fails while he is in scout mode, he can re-roll. Okay, his improvements. He is going to get Abydos +1. He actually forms quite a good relationship, especially with Skara. That's going to give him a +1 when dealing with any Abydonians. He is also going to have a health of +5. Remember, you get 2 improvements. You can sacrifice something to get 3 improvements. He's not sacrificing anything. He's just getting a bonus on his relationship and a bonus to his health. And his secondary traits will be, he'll have 4 resources. He'll have a speed of 12. This is 10 plus his dexterity. Defense of 12, 10 plus his dexterity. Toughness of 2, this gives his constitution. Toughness goes with your armor to do damage reduction. So he has an automatic 2 damage reduction against any impacting weapons. It depends on what you play. If you play in cinematic, this is an outright 2 damage reduction to ballistic as well, but we'll probably be playing in pulpy mode. So this is, yeah, with his armor vest, he will have 6 against impact and 4 against ballistic, I believe it is. And he has a health of 22. And his equipment, he is going to have his M40 sniper's rifle. This is going to give him an attack roll of +5. That's a base attack roll, not counting his bonus if he is bracing, so they can go up to +6. And it is a semi-automatic. Certain stunts will let him roll extra, plus I believe with a semi-automatic weapon, if you get a hit, you can actually add the dragon dice onto damage. You then do 2d6 plus the dragon dice plus 7 damage. This represents his accuracy, the sniper's rifle, and his +3 for having long arms. It is a penetrating weapon, so it can bypass most armor, and it can fire at 600 yards. He has his trusty P90, which will go at a +3, and it's a full automatic. Once again, different stunts will let him, do covering fire with a P90, and spray and pray, that sort of stuff. It only has a range of 260 yards, and it is 2d6 +3 ballistic. And then he has his Bowie knife, which is a dagger at +2, and it does 1d6 +3 impact damage. Okay, his clothing will be military fatigues and a tactical vest. This counts as bullet-resistant cloth, and sunglasses. He also has a hat. He has C4, radio, binoculars, night vision goggles, and a suppressor. This will let him attach it to a sniper's rifle and go heavy into stealth. You can also add a variety of grenades. And last but not least, his armor is going to be 2 impact and 4 ballistic. Add that to his toughness, so he will have 4 impact and 4 ballistic all up. Okay, we will then go in and have a good look at Jack O'Neill's character sheet. So here he is. You can see we've got his background, social class and drive. We have his accuracy of 3 with long arms, his leadership. He does have 0, but he gets a +2 on communication leadership. He then has intelligence 0 +2 on tactics. This gives him effectively the skills he'll be using will always be at +2. And then, of course, +3 for his accuracy. And yeah, that is his character sheet. This is one of the things I love about Modern Age, is this is the full character sheet. You can add preferred stunts, and you can add character background and stuff. You can add distinctive features up here, and of course he has a level of 1. Alright, so let's get stuck in with Jackson. Daniel Jackson, his concept. Here's Daniel Jackson. In 1997, he was 32. His background is a scientist. He has a social class of lower. His profession is archaeologist and linguist. His drive is to find Sade. His relationship, he is okay with the SGC, so he has a rank 1 with the SGC, and he has a rank 1 with the Aberdonians. Okay, his abilities and focuses. So, his ability will be accuracy of 1, communication of 3, this is his linguistic skills, constitution is 0, dexterity of 1, fighting 0, intelligence of 3, perception of 2, strength 0, willpower 2. His bonus, we're going to give him a bonus on his communication, giving him a +4. His focuses will be etiquette and performing, and he will have intelligence, anthropology. There is a reason we've taken performing. It may sound weird, he's not much of a performer, but it will make sense when we go into his talents. So, his talent, he'll begin novice with contacts. You can attempt to make a contact out of an NPC with a neutral or better attitude towards you with a successful communications persuasion test. Okay, yep. Sorry, I've just totally lost the plot. I'm going to have a bit of a drink. Water is so good. So this is going to let him talk to people a lot better. Anytime he needs to persuade people to do stuff, let them through, let them into the holy building, not kill them, he's going to get a better ability. It is for people with neutral or better attitude, but we can work around that. And this is linguist. This is why I've taken communication performing. He can learn heaps and heaps of languages. Remember, this is also based on intelligence, so he will have he can learn most languages very well, and by using communications performance, he can actually imitate the specific dialect of the language. He uses this a bit in the SGC, imitating people's speech and getting things through. Okay, and that will be expert, so that is his 1, 2, and 3. Okay, his improvements. He is going to have a relationship with the Aberdonians of an extra 2. This is going to give him Aberdonian rank +2, giving him a 3 for the Aberdonians. They venerate him as the person who freed them from gold occupation. He is going to take a resource deficit of -2 because he does come from a lower class, and he's going to get a reputation of crackpot terrorist. On Earth, this is going to mean people will look at him and think, oh, you're that whack job who believes the pyramids were landing ships for spacecraft. But in the wider galaxy, where everybody knows that, people are actually going to look at him and, oh, you're the guy who actually unlocked the Stargate and worked out the truth behind the pyramids. His secondary traits will be resources of only 2. He'll have a speed of 11, defense of 11, no toughness, and health of 15. So he is weak. You really don't want to get hit if you're running this character, because he is not a combatant whatsoever. His equipment. He has an M9 handgun. That is his pistol. In later seasons, he does start moving to the P90. You can, as he levels up, you can actually train him to use the P90 fairly effectively. But to begin with, he uses the pistol, and that's about it. He has an attack roll of +1, and it is a semi-automatic, and it does 2d6 +2 ballistic damage. And it's very close, 55 yards. He will have the military fatigues and the same tactical vest that O'Neill has, and his standard, he has sunglass clips that go over his eyes. He has radio, binoculars, night vision goggles, and a suppressor. He doesn't really carry C4 at all. And his armour is the same, 2 impact and 4 ballistic. Alright, Samantha Carter. Now I'm aware this is her Stargate Atlantis uniform, and while she's piloting or commanding, I think she was commanding the Tsunzu, wasn't she? The Earthship Tsunzu. I can't remember, I'll have to rewatch Atlantis. Her concept, her name is Samantha Carter. Her age is 29 in 1997. She has a background of the US Air Force. She is a social class of middle. She is a theoretical astrophysicist. Her drive is to actually defend Earth, as opposed to O'Neill's drive is defeat the Goa'uld. And because of her background in the US Air Force, she starts with rank 2 of the SGC. Okay, her abilities and focuses. So her ability will be accuracy 2, this shows she's actually pretty good with guns, communication 0, constitution 2, dexterity 2, fighting 1, not great but she still can take care of herself pretty well, intelligence of 3, perception 2, and strength and willpower 0. I will then be given her a bonus in intelligence, given her an intelligence of 4. Her focus will be the SMG, which means she can use the P90 very, very effectively. She will also have astronomy and physics. She was an astrophysicist, so these two kind of suit in. Also, the stars I've put in basically means they are knowledge-based tests, which will be important later. Her talent is improvisation. You can do a little bit of everything. You can make an ability test that requires a specific focus, even if you don't have that focus. You don't gain the focus bonus to your rolls, and you don't generate stunt points on a roll, but you're always considered to have a primary focus in investigations. This effectively means, say she is in a Goa'uld cargo ship and the engine breaks, she can generally improvise something to fix the engine. She's done it before, she has no knowledge on how to do it, but she was kind of a bit of a Mary Sue when it came to being able to fix stuff, and improvisation gives her that. knowledge. This here is why we chose, why we put the stars on it. So you have studied hard. When you make a successful intelligence test with a knowledge focus, the GM should give you an extra piece of information on the topic. So she is trying to work out how to, destroy a sun by using the physics of a Stargate. Well, when she rolls and works it out, the GM actually can give her more information on how that works. This suits in with her style in the TV show and is quite cool for role-playing modes. And she actually has 3, so she's got 3 novice tests. This will be theory and practice. You can do the thing in theory. You can attempt a test using a knowledge focus related test at hand, but with a -1 penalty, i.e. you can be using intelligence security instead of dexterity sabotage. So this lets her use her intelligence tests to do stuff like take out the gold security thing, keeping the door locked. She's done that a few times in the show without any particular knowledge on sabotage or lockpicking. She was actually able to use her intelligence to break into stuff. So yeah, that is her talents. Very, very handy for role-playing and very handy for pretty much being able to jury rig things together and keep stuff operational. Her improvements. She is going to be choosing a health of +5. This represents her military training. And she will have NASA and Area 51 with a plus. Often in the TV show, she knew someone at Area 51 who could actually help with something. Her secondary traits will be 4 resource, speed of 12, defense 12, toughness 2, health 22. And her equipment will be her trusty P90, the M9 pistol, the same as Jackson, and the Bowie knife, the same as O'Neill. She has pretty much the same stuff O'Neill has. It's pretty close to standard equipment for, military SGC personnel. Right, same armor, everything. So we can have a look. We didn't actually have a look at Jackson's one. Let's have a look at Jackson's one. Okay, we can see etiquette and performance and anthropology. We can see he is rank 3 with Abydos, and he is rank 3 in the membership of the Abydonians. Samantha Carter, you can see her health 22 and Area 51 in NASA. You can see her equipment there. Astronomy and physics with the stars to remind us that these are physics-based tests. Whoa. I did not know it would do that. Interesting. Okay. Last but not least, TEAL'C of CHULAK. Okay, we have the concept. His name is TEAL'C. Didn't really get a last name. It was always just TEAL'C of CHULAK, or the Chauvard. He is 98 in 1997. He has the background of Jafar, social class of lower, and his profession was first prime. It was technically first prime of Apophis, but we'll just keep it to first prime. His drive is freedom from gold oppression. And as he is an outsider in the US military, he just has a level 1 rank with the SGC, same as Jackson. His abilities. So we are going to choose Constitution, Fighting, and Strength with a bit of Perception and real strong willpower. We're then going to give a Constitution bonus, so he'll have 4 Constitution. His focuses will be Tolerance, so this lets him, take much more damage, take a lot more environmental damage before going down. It basically shows his ability to withstand punishment. His strength might, and his willpower self-discipline. His talents will be, he will be a Jafar. Obviously, he has the symbiote sitting right in his belly. So this is going to give him accuracy and fighting with gold weapons and dexterity piloting gold vehicles. This is the Death Glider, which he was very proficient in, as well as he could fly the cargo ship and he could operate on the Peltac of all of the gold cruisers. He is also going to have armoured combat style. So this is going to be an expert level. He's going to allow him to reduce the armour penalty of his armour by 1 and he gets more impact damage and more ballistic damage out of his armor. This is going to make him a true tank. His improvements. I'm going to choose health twice, so this is going to give him a health of plus 10. Standard starting health is 15, so this is going to give him 25 plus his constitution. He is going to take resources of -2, and his reputation is the Shulva. So when dealing with Goa'uld who didn't really care about that, I'm trying to think of any Goa'uld who didn't care about that, but I can't. This is going to give him a bit of a bonus, plus, you know, the Jafar, the Tok'ra, anyone who is anti the Goa'uld will see this as something good. He is the one who gave the middle finger to the Goa'uld System Lords. The Goa'uld System Lords, however, they're not going to like him too much. Just going to have some more water. Ow. Okay, secondary traits. He's going to have a resource of 2. His speed and defense is only going to be sitting at 10. His toughness, however, will be 4, and his health 29. His equipment. He will have a staff weapon. Melee damage will be doing +5, and it will be doing 2d6 plus 6 impact damage. This shows he was really, really good at melee combat with his staff weapon. He then has the staff weapon range. It is going to be single shot, doing a +2, and it will be doing 3d6 plus 1 ballistic damage. Now, staff weapons, the reason I wasn't too worried about this, they were powerful but notoriously inaccurate, and they didn't fire very far. It was more spray and pray style. The amount of times you see the Goa'uld fighting, they have huge armies fighting in the general direction, and one hit would kill someone, but you fire 100 shots to get the one round, as opposed to the Earth-based tech, which was a sniper's rifle could kill someone from a long distance. He also has built into his armor a Zat Nikatal. Okay, he is going to have the Jafar Honor Guard armor. That was his gold armor he had, and he will have a radio and a symbiote. His Honor Guard armor gives him, the Honor Guard armor was 4 and 6, but because he has the talent, it goes up to 6 impact and 7 ballistic. Add that to his 6 toughness. It means in melee combat he can withstand 10 damage without actually taking damage. Also for range stuff, if people are shooting bullets at him, he will automatically absorb 7 bullets before he actually starts taking damage. This shows his ability to withstand damage big time. It also means if you're playing him, you stand right up the front. People can be wailing on you for a while, especially in melee combat, and you just will not get hurt. And people can be shooting at you, and you'll generally be able to bounce back. Adding that to his symbiote ability, which we will have a look if we go up to TEAL'C, we can see the symbiote gives the medical implant, which lets him generally take 2 short rests as opposed to 1. So he can heal his 29 hit points back very, very, very fast. And this will be his sheet. All that information on this sheet, it's very, very handy, especially when you're playing. You don't need multiple books to learn everything. Now, the very last person we are doing, VALA DORAN. Now, I'm aware we have Cameron Mitchell and Jonas Quinn. Jonas Quinn is effectively a replacement of Jackson, and Cameron Mitchell was a replacement. Just take off the Abydos and put him as a pilot, and that's really the only difference. But VALA DORAN was a unique character on her own, so I thought I'd add her in as well. Okay, her concept, VALA DORAN. Now, there's no indication as to her age. I'm guessing by the fact of the age of her father, she was only the host to Quatesh for a short period. It kind of hints that it could have been longer, but then you meet her father and realise he's not too much older. So, yeah, she has a social class of upper. Her profession is a con artist, and her drive is to survive. Once again, she is an outsider, so SGC rank of +1. Her abilities and focuses. She's going to have a communication of 3, dexterity of 3, intelligence of 3, and perception of 3. We're going to give a bonus to dexterity. And we're going to give her sleight of hand. This is going to be her thieving skills, intelligence security, so she can break into things, and communication seduction. She uses that a lot, especially when dealing with Jackson. Especially when she stole the Prometheus from Jackson. Okay, her talents will be, she was a Goa'uld host. Her symbiote has been removed by the Tok'ra, so she no longer has the symbiont ability, but she still has the ability to sense Goa'uld and to use the hand device, as well as because she has the ancestral memories that Quitesh kind of gave her. They're hidden away, but it gives her the ability to pilot Goa'uld vehicles, and she has the ability to use Goa'uld weapons very well. She is a novice burglar, so this lets her use security intelligence tests and get more information out of it when she's doing that, so she can, hack in, break in, all that sort of stuff a lot better. And she has attractive. She can basically use her her flirting abilities and her seduction abilities for communication to her advantage and get more information. This is going to give the crew their primary hacker and their person who can talk their way into and out of any trouble. Jackson is good at talking different languages, but he doesn't have the same seduction ability that VALA has. Her improvements will be a resource of +2, plus she's going to have the reputation of Mother of the Orosai. This will mean in dealing with the Ori, she has a higher chance of not being instantly killed because the Ori do not want to kill the Mother of the Orosai. It's going to let her get in and out of better situations whenever she deals with the Ori. Not merely as helpful with the Goa'uld, but very helpful in other systems. Secondary traits will be, she'll have the highest resource of 6. This will give her the ability to purchase most of the stuff that the team needs, especially when dealing with the things like the Lucian Alliance. She's going to have a speed of 14 and a defense of 14, so she will be the fastest and the best defended. However, like Jackson, no toughness and no health. Her equipment, she does have other pistols. I couldn't really find much information, so I'm just giving her the Zat Nicotel. Just give me a sec. Something wrong with my throat. She'll also have her battle dress. She often had a bit of a cape there, but she didn't really wear much more than that. That will count, however, as bullet-resistant cloth. It was Goa'uld made, so a bit stronger than human technology. And she has the Goa'uld hand device for healing. This effectively counts as having a med kit. And her bullet-resistant cloth is sitting at 2i and 4b. Once again, you don't want to get hit with her, but with her abilities, you can generally talk your way into and out of situations without having to resort to being shot at. So, let's have a look at VALA DORAN. Here she is. I still don't know her age. Didn't bother putting the height and weight of everybody, but you can see she does have Goa'uld weapons, so using the Zat Nicotel does give her the +2. She can also pilot vehicles very, very well. This gives her a +6 on piloting. Fighting, yeah, she could probably fight with the staff weapon okay. She doesn't really do it though, and she has very little strength. She can sense the symbiotes, and she can get into and out of security information and seduce her way everywhere. So that is actually absolutely everybody. That's the one thing I love about the system, and the time it would usually take to do 2 character classes in Pathfinder. We have gone through 5 characters and a description on how the STUNTS system works, which, yeah, I love this system. It is so versatile, I find. I mean, I know there is a Kickstarter running for a Stargate pen and paper system. I decided not to back it. It's not that, I mean, it was coming close to Christmas, so all the money went into Christmas presents, but what's the point in getting it? I have Modern Age, and it has absolutely everything. So I'd highly recommend, I mean, I wouldn't say people don't back the game. If you want to play the Stargate one, go and play the Stargate one. I just merely chose not to because we have pretty much all the information we could ever want sitting at our fingertips. Let me just put back on. Something's happened here. My system has decided to crash on me. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, no, OBS has decided to have a bit of a... yep. Okay, I don't know what's wrong. My Stream Deck has basically decided, hey, I don't want to work anymore and I'm not talking to OBS. I did notice there was an update for OBS popping up. Maybe that has something to do with it, but not to worry. So yeah, I would highly recommend you guys have a look at the Modern Age. There was a bag of holding thing available that sort of inspired me to create them. Like, I've got all the books anyway, so yeah, I'd just recommend having a look at it. You can go onto the Green Ronin website. You can download a free PDF on the starter guide. That will give you a bit of an introduction on using it. I'd recommend this and the Threefold. They do have a dystopic system called the World of Lazarus. It is pretty good if you wanted to do sort of a cyberpunk type setting. Which is the other good thing that this game can do. You can run cyberpunk type games, you can run future games, you can run historical type ones. If you wanted to have magic and gunfighters in the Wild West, you can do it with this system. You can pretty much do any type of system you want. It is really, really versatile. The STUNTS system adds so much to it. And with the bell curve of the 3d6, you make a character and you know what your character is going to be good at doing. It doesn't mean it's always like that. I had a character that was really good at cartography. I was pretty much, I was an elf playing as a hacker. I could do maps, I could break into stuff, all that sort of thing. I went into investigate and have a look at, I broke into a chieftain's tent and stole his maps so I could have a look at the battle plans. I still rolled 3 1s, which meant I looked at the map upside down, went back, told the army what I saw, we planned our defence, and the enemy were attacking from behind. You can still do that sort of stuff with the system, but it's a lot more infrequent. It's nowhere near the same level of D&D. So, thank you for watching. We will be doing some more character builds a lot later on. We will probably be having a look at the Stargate Atlantis crew and maybe even move into the Firefly crew. But thank you and farewell.